Okay, guys, welcome. Thanks for coming. Today, I want to just walk you through how I edit a Medium article. I have an article that I wrote earlier today, and you can probably see on the screen how Igor Stravinsky, I think I'm saying that right, marketed ballet with controversy and violence. So, anyway, this is an article I wrote earlier today. I thought it would be kind of neat to just walk you through how I edited one of my articles. Again, I wrote this article earlier today. I already gave you the title. I changed the title a few times. The first title I had was How Igor Stravinsky Marketed Ballet with a Riot, which I like that too. I like because it's shorter, but I didn't think that it was as catchy. So I changed it to this one, Marketing ballet with controversy and violence. So even though it has history, it also has music tie-in, and it also has sort of a almost a true crime tie-in. So I'll either try to publish this in history. I could also publish it in true crime, maybe, but I could also publish it in marketing. So I'm thinking of doing marketing publications like Better Marketing as well. Anyway, so there's the title, the subtitle. I just always want to make both of these as clear and as short as possible. This one's actually a longer title than I normally go for, but I have a lot of information to put in there, so I wanted to capture everything. Actually, I think it's a really cool story that I found that I wrote about, and it kind of captured my attention, which is one of my gut check off list for what kind of articles that I try to write. So you can see the subtitle, the provocative 1913 premiere of The Rite of Spring, which is a ballet, shock marketing, and practical tips you can use today. So you can see that I have a marketing slant there as well. So I always try to pick a picture. Typically, I go with a picture that is from canva.com that I create there. I have my own pro account there. There's also a free version that I used for a long time. It's probably perfectly fine for most people. But you can see this time I went with Wikipedia Commons. This has a license, Creative Commons license, so I can use it, but it actually is a picture of a performance of this Rite of Spring. So I thought that would be cool to put with this article. And I always try to pick a horizontal picture. I just think it looks better, and most publications seem to like that better. I always go in here and change the alt text, and I'll put something like describing what is in the picture, and then I typically put the name of the article or whatever keywords that I'm trying to go for the articles. That's some of the things I look for when I'm editing. I'll also typically come up here and check the display title, make sure that it matches the display title and subtitle. I want to make sure those things are the same in both this section over here and the title and subtitle that actually exist on my draft. Sometimes they're not the same because this version, this sort of a preview version, doesn't always capture or copy what we change here. So I always make sure that's the same, and then I go to my tags and I pick the tags. Typically, I try to pick a broad range of tags to get the most audience for my articles. So you can see I have marketing, I have music, I have art, history, and creativity. And so I always pick all five. And I also always go into more settings, which is sort of your SEO or search engine optimization settings. I do this for every article. And so I go down here and I will make sure again that my tags show up there. I'll make sure that says that I'm enrolled in the partner program. And also, I'll check out this title preview. I always keep in mind that SEO titles work best between 40 and 50 characters, so I try to shorten this title here, which is a title preview. It shows up on Google or Bing or whatever other kind of internet search you might do. This is the title that'll show up in those search engines. So it doesn't have to be the exact same title as the title of your article that shows up in Medium. But I try to make it the same when I can, or I will change and shorten it up a little bit so that it gets at least under the 60 character limit for Google. And when I can, I try to get through the 40 and 50 characters. Okay, so I did that. You can see I changed it, kept my original title there because it's shorter. And then with the description, I usually try to repeat my title or my keywords that are typically in my title. And then, so I repeat the title and usually put the subtitle in there. And depending on how many characters I have left that still fall under 156 characters, actually fall within this range, I will put something like read here, get started now, learn more, discover more here, something like that as a call to action in this little description box. So that's how I handle that section. And then let's go back over here to the actual article. So I make sure I have my citing, that I'm citing my sources, my picture. And then I'm just going to go through here and I just read every line. I also make sure that the paragraphs are as long or as short as I want them to be. Often I like a variation of paragraph and sentence length and sentence structure. And then, so I go through and I just read the whole article and I make sure I have these dividers because that's the kind of format I like. And ever since I changed to this much, what I think is a cleaner formatting, shorter paragraphs, put these three little dots, sort of dividers, mediums dividers, and um, and then I just make lots of subheadings. I've been curated more often, and it seems like I'm making more money with medium. So, and my articles seem to go over better. I just think it's a cleaner look, easier to read, easier on the eyes. And so I just check this formatting is consistent, make sure that my titles, my headlines, my subheaders are, consistently capitalized in the same way, either, first letter capitalization, kind of title cap, or the sentence cap, whatever it may be for the publication that I'm targeting. And so I just go ahead and make sure all these are similar. And again, I read through the whole article. Usually I read it out loud to see how the sentences sound. And let's see, what else do I do? I definitely check each one of these subheaders and actually my title in what I call the title. I use the free tool, the title converter. I think that it'll probably come up. Yeah, title case converter. And then I just paste whatever the subheader or title is. I do convert, make sure that it is correct. I actually already did this before, so it should still work. So I'm going to clear that, and I just do that for each one of my subheaders. So let's read this article out loud and see how it sounds. The 1913 premiere of Igor Stravinsky's ballet, The Rite of Spring, ended in a history-making riot that shook the music world. I like that. A riot that propelled Stravinsky to superstardom as a classical musician and composer. Over 100 years later, we are still talking about him. I tried to hook the reader right up front and then also sort of tease the rest of the story and try to bring the reader down the page so that they continue reading. Let's continue. Called the most famous scandal in the history of performing arts by some, the ballet offers keen marketing insights for anyone promoting an idea, product, or service. So again, you can see I have the marketing slant there. I was thinking marketing or history, but I was leaning more toward marketing. Quick disclaimer, this article does not advocate violence. By all accounts, Stravinsky, and that Stravinsky is actually spelled wrong, but it didn't catch it, so that's why we read it out loud. Stravinsky, I think that's correct. There we go, so we caught that. Grammarly didn't catch it, but we caught it. By all accounts, Stravinsky desired uproar, not mutiny. So I wanted to put this disclaimer in here because I want to make sure that Medium and the reader knows that I'm not advocating violence because that is actually against the Medium guidelines, and I do not want to do that. Nor do I want to promote violence. Contrary to popular lore, many classical musicians lived a life that more closely resembled rock stars than aged economic professors. No offense to professors, I'm sure you were very cool too. I thought that was a funny joke. Just like modern day rock stars, classical musicians recklessly abandoned social norms. They alienated the public, shunned polite society, and indulged in copious amounts of drugs and sex. Some even committed murder. The marketing geniuses like Stravinsky produced performances so controversial that they sometimes erupted in violence. I think I'm going to take that "the" off there. Just marketing geniuses like Stravinsky. I think that's more, it's stronger and it doesn't start with "the" because this started with "they," and I like to change things up. So then I have a quote. From all indications, I can see that this piece is bound to emerge in a way that rarely happens. Igor Stravinsky in a letter to Nicholas Roerich. The marketing genius of mayhem. Igor Stravinsky was a Russian composer with a rebellious side. In The Rite of Spring, he composed a shocking combination of clashing musical notes, stuttering body movements, and visual disharmony. The result was a visual and auditory assault on the audience. According to one of the dancers, the uproar began the moment the conductor arrived in the theater. The theater itself, I'm not going to pronounce that, was remarkable, a brand new venue in Paris for alluring ballets and controversial stage dramas. On top of that, Stravinsky composed the ballet for the Ballet Russes, a ballet company known for outrageous, untamed performances. Igor knew exactly what he was doing. The ballet premiered on May 29, 1913. The composer himself described the chaos. The curtain opened on a group of knock-kneed and long-braided lolitas jumping up and down. The storm broke. Actually, this should not be in here like this because it's just supposed to be one quote. So I guess that would be like that. The curtain opened on a group of knock-kneed and long-braided lolitas jumping up and down. The storm broke. I went out. I said, go to hell. Again, and this is a quote. It's not grammatically correct, but it is a quote. So I feel like I should most of the time I leave this just the way it is. But sometimes I change it just because it's just so grammatically incorrect that I don't want people to think, I don't want the editor of the publication to think that I didn't catch that. From the accounts, the riot erupted early and only got worse as the performance unfolded. Contradictory reports mention fistfights, pleas for doctors, and projectiles hurled throughout the crowd. He predicted the controversy. I think we should put his name there again, or Stravinsky. Stravinsky, there we go. Stravinsky predicted the controversy, then helped ignite it. Because I don't think it's clear with just the he there, so I think that's a good call. The ballet that sparked a riot. To understand the violent response to the premiere, it's necessary to dig into the ballet itself, pull back the folds of skin, peer into the bones. The ballet weaponizes sound and movement to mock create the pagan ritual of virgin sacrifice to trigger spring. In the book, Conversations, Stravinsky describes how the idea struck him in a dream. The idea of the Rite of Spring came to me while I was still composing Firebird. I had dreamed of a scene of pagan ritual in which a chosen sacrificial virgin danced herself to death. I think that's a powerful statement, and it's a quote again, so I'm leaving that the same. 33 minutes long, the ballet tells a shocking, century-rich story that seduced and enraged audiences. In the performance, the dancer playing the Virgin freezes, then slowly comes to life, moving with angular contortions and tortured motions. I really like this phrase. It's not my own, that's why I have it in quotes. Against this dramatic interpretive dance, the music bellows, screeches, played uncomfortably loud on purpose. Every rule of music is tossed aside for auditory anarchy. See, I have a lot of words that start with the same letter on purpose, like up here, a shocking century-rich story that seduced. I think it's called alliteration. I like using that on occasion. And there we have this guy's name. A French writer said of the ballet, there is something profoundly blind about this dance. There is an enormous question being carried about by all these creatures moving before our eyes. It is in no way distinct from themselves. They carry it about with them without understanding it, like an animal that turns in its cage and never tires of butting its head against the bars. Again, I think it's a wonderful description. I like it, and I think I'll keep it. The primitive animalistic nature of the dancing provoked and puzzled the aristocrat audience. It jarred their psyches, possibly unmooring unrealized fears that would project onto the global stage roughly 12 months later at the beginning of World War I. So I'm going to change that because Grammarly likes that at better. Critics lauded the ballet as a masterpiece, even the choreography, some historians, say some historians, had an equally dramatic impact on dance, possibly even sparking the beginnings of what would eventually become modern dance. So there I'm going to disagree with Grammarly. I don't think Grammarly's right. The takeaways, plus it's a quote. The takeaways, shock marketing is nothing new. From billboards that allude to group sex to the stunning vertigo-inducing visuals of 3D street art, shock marketing abducts our attention more than asks for it. Artists, Fortune 500 companies, and nonprofit organizations alike dig into the well of shock marketing. Do you dig into a well? I don't think dig into is right. Visit the well. Dig into the well. Almost makes sense, but really you don't dig into a well because it's already dug. They visit the well of shock marketing. I'm going to leave that for now. I might change it later. This brazen brand of promotion is used to market everything from personal health, animal protection, and racial inclusivity. However, Stravinsky's particular application of shock marketing is both naturally surprising and practically instructive. Anyone marketing any idea, product, or service might take note. To be clear, I'm not advocating that you start riots to sell something. Violence is not the takeaway. Indeed, again, I'm just reiterating, I'm not advocating violence. Instead, here are the main principles to market like Igor Stravinsky. Use visuals and auditory contrast. Go against the norms in your field or industry. Market with the intention to provoke. Start with the mission to stir up controversy. Launch in a venue or location that exaggerates the controversy. Where you launch matters. Begin with a startling visual. Come out of the gate swinging. Get personally involved in the controversy. Don't hide behind red tape, teams of lawyers, or any other kind of distancing bureaucracy. Keep in mind that you don't need to tap into negativity, discomfort, or pain to practice shock marketing. For example, Google's Friends Forever marketing campaign for Android was the most shared ad of 2015. So an example of positive marketing. Again, I'm trying to shift away from the negative to the positive. Both negative and positive can be used for shock marketing. Final thoughts. I almost always put a final thoughts in. I figured why not? It adds words and also not just padding the article with more words, but also I think I can put some thoughts here that I think bring the article to a nice conclusion. Historians and scholars regularly question the historical accuracy of conflicting accounts of the riot. Over the years, the controversial premiere has risen to the level of urban legend. What really happened that night? Some accounts report an audience divided into two warring factions, an orchestra under siege, and the arrest of 40 angry Parisians. I think that's how you say that. Like most legends, the severity of the riot and its importance in history magnifies over time. Disputes only spur the telling and retelling of Stravinsky's ballet. Maybe that's the greatest marketing lesson of all. It's a story that people love to tell. So I like to end with a resonant thought. Sometimes it's reflective or deep, or maybe do a callback to something I said in the beginning of the article. But anyway, that's pretty much how I edit my articles. Anyway, that's how I edit. If you have any questions about editing your work in Medium or just really anywhere, let me know the question in the comments. If you like this article, please hit the like button. And if you are not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. That really helps me with my channel and with the YouTube algorithm. So thanks so much for checking out this video. Check out my other videos on writing on Medium and just writing and making money online in general. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you at the next video.